The afternoon sun in Lagos was unforgiving, pouring heat over rusted rooftops and noisy streets. Inside a cramped one-room apartment in Yaba, Zara adjusted the tape around her waist and stared at her reflection in the cracked mirror. Slim but curvy, in the way that turned heads without effort, she had the kind of beauty that didn't beg for attention, it commanded it. As a fashion design student, she dreamed in fabrics and sketched gowns in the margins of her notebooks during lectures. Her fingers were always stained with chalk and thread, her mind constantly weaving futures that looked brighter than her present. Emeka, her boyfriend, wiped grease from his hands at the mechanic workshop down the street. His dark skin glistened with sweat, and his palms were rough from tightening bolts all day. He was proud, sometimes too proud. A mechanic apprentice, earning barely enough to feed himself, he carried his poverty like a secret wound. He hated that Zara often reached for her purse before he could even pretend to. "Let me pay for the food," Zara would say quickly whenever they went to Mama T's buka. "I said I'll handle it," Emeka would reply, jaw tightening. But in the end, it was always Zara's transfer alert that buzzed. She paid the rent, she bought the groceries, she even paid part of his apprenticeship fee when his oga threatened to send him away. She did it quietly, smiling in public, pretending he was the one spoiling her. To her friends, she painted a different picture. "Emeka just surprised me again," she lied once at a cafe in Surulere, pushing her smoothie around nervously. Her friends giggled. "Ah, boyfriend goals." Zara forced a smile, but something heavy pressed on her chest. She loved him, she truly did, but love was beginning to feel expensive. And Emeka? He noticed the strain in her eyes, though she tried to hide it. The night rain drummed against the zinc roof, and Zara sat cross-legged on her bed, counting crumpled naira notes. Her tailoring side hustle was barely enough to sustain both of them. She had just paid the electricity bill again. Emeka sat silently in the corner, scrolling through his phone. "You didn't have to," he muttered. Zara sighed. "If I don't, who will? We can't sit in darkness because of pride." The word hit him like a slap. "Don't talk to me like I'm useless, Zara." She softened her tone. "I didn't mean it like that." But maybe she did. Days later at her department's fashion exhibition, things took a turn. Zara wore a fitted Ankara dress she had designed herself, her long braids wrapped elegantly in a bun. Emeka came straight from the workshop, his shirt clean but clearly worn. Her friends gathered around. "Is this the famous Emeka?" one of them teased lightly. Zara laughed too loudly. "Yes, oh, my mechanic boyfriend. If your car spoils, at least we won't pay," she joked. The laughter that followed was sharp. Emeka smiled stiffly, but his eyes dimmed. That night, he barely spoke. "You embarrassed me," he said. Zara replied defensively. "A joke that reminded me I can't provide." She rolled her eyes. "Then do something about it." The words hung in the air long after she slept. What Zara didn't know was that Emeka had already been doing something about it. Every extra tip from customers fixing emergency breakdowns, every overtime night helping his Oga rebuild engines, every coin saved from trekking instead of taking a bus, he kept it hidden. He had opened a small savings account months ago. Not for himself, for her. He had been secretly speaking with a shop owner in Mushin about a tiny vacant space, the perfect size for a beginner fashion studio. He had even drawn a rough sketch of how he imagined her mannequin standing proudly by the glass. She deserves better, he told himself every night. When Zara started coming home later and complaining more, he only worked harder. But resentment was growing inside her. At another gathering, when someone asked what Emeka was doing with her life, Zara shrugged. He's still figuring things out. Still figuring things out. The words reached him through a mutual friend. That night, he didn't come over. Zara grew restless. For days, Emeka was distant. Had he found someone richer? Someone who didn't look at him like a project? One afternoon, determined to confront him, she went to his workshop in Mushin. But he wasn't there. Oga said he went to see one shop owner, one apprentice mentioned casually. Her heart skipped. Shop owner? Curiosity pulled her toward the address scribbled on a piece of paper she found in his toolbox. When she arrived, she froze. Through the open door of a small shop space, she saw Emeka speaking passionately with an elderly landlord. "I just need 2 more weeks. I've almost completed the balance," Emeka pleaded. "And you're sure it's for your wife?" the landlord asked. "My girlfriend," Emeka corrected proudly. "She's a fashion designer. She doesn't know yet. I want to surprise her." Zara's knees weakened. Her chest tightened painfully as every joke, every public humiliation replayed in her mind. He wasn't broke and lazy. He was building quietly. For her. Tears streamed down Zara's face as she stepped inside. Emeka turned, shocked. "Zara, what are you doing here?" She couldn't speak at first. The shame was too loud. "You were saving. All this time?" He hesitated. "I wanted to be the man you deserve." Her voice trembled. "And I kept treating you like you were nothing." Silence swallowed them. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "I was tired."
but that doesn't excuse disrespect. Emeka's pride cracked slightly. Struggling doesn't mean I'm small. She nodded, tears falling freely. I forgot that. 2 weeks later, Zara stood inside her own tiny fashion studio, a simple space with white walls and one second-hand mannequin, but it felt like a palace, not because it was big, but because it was built with sacrifice. At her next exhibition, when someone joked about Emeka's work, Zara held her hand firmly. My man is the hardest working person I know, she said boldly. Don't mistake quiet seasons for failure. And this time, the pride in Emeka's eyes was different. It wasn't wounded, it was respected. Lesson: never mock someone during their struggling season. Some people are silent, not because they are empty, but because they are building.